Hi guys, Eric here. No Shin Kenpo Sanda. Last video, we went over two punches, two straight punches, the various guards. Two punches being your lead punch and your reverse punch. They're the same punch. They're just done from one side or the other. And then we went over your front kicks. There's three basic ways to do the lead or the straight punch. Three basic ways to do the front kick. This time we're going to take those same dynamics of the punch and we're going to make, we're going to use palms. Okay? So it's the guard. I'm not going to go over the guards again. Okay? You already know it's either here, here, or here. Still all relevant. All I'm going to do is I'm going to open the hand. The dynamics of a strike, depending on the angle, don't change. You got circle movements, you got upward movements, you got downward movements, and you got straight movements, right? Well, from the wrist back, generally, for a long movement, that doesn't change. All they're really doing is changing the tip of the weapon, okay? So, if I was to take a punch and open it up and make a palm strike out of it, it's the same move. I just open it up and I use what's called a horseshoe. Okay, the horseshoe is not using this part here. It's using this part here. Depending on the angle that I do, I can do it as a circle or a hook. I can do it as a straight. I can do it as a scoop. Okay, so I call this one a sweep. I call this a scoop. And this is a snap. Okay? Like I said, you can do it the same way as you do the punches, except you just open your hand, curl your fingers back so they stay out of the way, tuck your thumb in, and use the horseshoe, which is the bottom of the palm heel. The center of the palm, that's fine if you're going to hit somebody in the ear, because if you cup the ear, you can blow an eardrum out. So there's a place for that too. But if you're going to hit something like the jaw, even the top of the head, even the solar plexus, you better use the hardest part of the softest part of your hand, which is right here in the heel. Okay? So all we're going to do is we're going to use that as a straight movement. Okay? Like I said, I'm not going to go over the guards again. We already did that. You can open your hand or close your hand. I don't care. Just keep the hand that you're actually striking with open. Keep the palm jutted out. Because if you just hit like this, you're not going to do much damage. Okay? And damage is the point. Okay? If you're practicing a martial art, you're practicing strikes, you're practicing throws, you're practicing takedown. Everything is about defeating an opponent, about causing damage. If you can't handle that, do something else. Okay? That's not the only aspect of martial arts, but it's a primary aspect. If it doesn't work and you try and save yourself with it, you are going to get hurt. That's just the way it is. No amount of rationalizing it is going to change that. I've seen it too many times. Okay? So, remember, damage is primary when you're practicing a physical technique. Damage to the other guy, if you do it wrong, damage is going to happen to you. That's not what it's about. Okay? You don't take a hit to give a hit. That's stupid. And it goes against everything about self-protection. Okay? So, all we're doing is whatever guard I want to do. Here, I'm in a negotiating stance right here. I might be bladed. Okay? Most people won't get this because they aren't seeing it. They're just seeing the negotiation. I might be square. Okay? I seem like an open target. I'm aware of what I'm doing. I'm an open target to a point. Maybe I'm letting you think I'm an open target. But my hands being here when I'm talking to somebody is trying to be negotiating. If I do like this, that's defensive. Okay? What I really want to be is something like this because, number one, it makes it seem like I'm being not passive, but reasonable. It also means that I can flick my wrist over as soon as it's gotten out of hand. And there's nothing I can do about that. Okay? So right here, this is a defensive stance. This is a fighting stance. This right here, not this. This right here, this is me emphasizing my words with my hands. Okay? It's also a distraction. My hands are moving. I'm being articulate with my hands as I'm talking to you, and that just comes out of nowhere. Used it before. A lot of experience. But the idea here is roll your wrist from the wrist down, still elbow tucked in, and then sent out like this, and I hit with this part right here. It's not that hard. It is a lot easier than doing the punches. See, the punches are actually harder than using palms. Palms are actually more practical too. Less damage to you, less permanent damage to the other guy, but definitely a shock. I mean, it's one of those things that anybody that's been slapped knows that it sucks worse than being punched. It leaves a much more lasting effect. Okay? All this is a forward slap. Forward slap. That's all it is. Okay? So I'm just forward and back. Forward and back. That's when I'm doing this as a drill. When I do it as a technique in contact, I do what's called a ricochet. Okay? Which means it goes out and then it comes up like I touched something hot. Okay? So if I go 1, 2, 1, 2, I'm just doing that to get the emphasis, the feeling of the motion through my shoulder. Rolling that wrist. You know, palm towards me, palm towards him. Palm towards me, palm towards him. When I do it as a practical movement, it goes 1 up. Which also means that I can do other things. I can bring it back down. I can circle it up. I can do lots of stuff from there. Okay? So, when I do this on the target, it's going to be, I'll do lead first. Okay? Same movement. Step forward. You kind of want to step and drag. Step, drag. Step, drag. Okay? And what I'll do is I'll do it not to the front of the face, not to the nose. I want to step off slightly. I want to hit him on the side of the jaw. Right here. Same place a boxer will hit someone with a hook. Okay? That's a nerve center. People say, oh, there's no such thing as pressure points. Okay, if I hit you in a spot that knocks you out, disrupted your nervous system, that's a pressure point. Call it a meridian. Call it whatever you want. It's a pressure point. It's a nervous center that's too close to the surface. There's actually very few you can use in confrontation. A lot of them you can use civilly. I'm talking about like Reiki. I'm talking about acupressure and stuff. Hey, when somebody's relaxed, you can use a lot of pressure points on somebody. Okay, you're not using them aggressively. You're using them medicinally. But when it comes to aggression, when it comes to a fight, there's maybe 5 pressure points you can actually use in a fight. And some of them aren't even nerve centers. If I hit you in the trachea, still a pressure point. I apply pressure, you get hurt. It's not a matter of nervous system. It's hitting the weakest parts of the body structurally. Okay? Sorry, if I hit you in the side of the knee and blow out your ACL, your MCL, or whatever, still a pressure point. I apply pressure, damage happens. Sudden pressure, which is a strike. Gradual pressure, which is a submission. Or gradual sudden pressure, which is a really quick submission. So, I'm hitting in a pressure point. Right here, the pressure point is at the tip, almost at the tip of the jaw. Okay, the next pressure point that you might hit would be the temple, or on or behind the ear. It's call it the triangle of destruction, from here to the back and up. You hit anywhere along that triangle, you're going to cause damage. Okay, and you can't flex that. So if you're a bodybuilder, you're still not going to make it through. Okay, you might be able to take a couple of hits. You're not going to be able to take 4 or 5. Okay, and I won't stop until you fall down. Okay, that's the biggest key. Just like in boxing, punches in bunches. Okay, strike until they cannot continue. Continue until they can't. One punch knockout is great. More advanced practitioners are quite capable of it. But when you start out, you have to do a lot to accomplish a little. As you get better at it, you can do less to accomplish a lot. Okay? That's how the advantage works. That's how training works. So, here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it from both sides so that you can see on either side. So, I'm here, and I'm still moving like this, and I'm like this. Once he gets aggressive or he tries to reach for me, I'm going to step slightly off, step drag to the side, and I'm going to catch him right here. Okay? I'm going to ricochet too. It also puts my hand up in a position if he does an instinctive counter punch, my hand is up to defend. So if I go boom and he throws automatically, my hand's here. It's up to defend. Okay? If he happens to throw low, I can drop an elbow on him. So I have defensive tactics mixed in there. 1, 2, he doesn't hit me. 1, 2, he still doesn't hit me. My elbow will crush his fist. Okay? He may glance me. He may make contact. It may suck a little bit and sting, but it's not going to hit me full force. That's why you keep this guard here once the fight is commenced. Okay? That elbow there, that's a weapon. So I step off and I bring it up. You do it on the other side. I'll step off and I'll come up. I'm doing it very light right now. 1, 2. Well, it's almost like I'm throwing something behind me. Okay? If I do it fast, it looks like this. Ish! 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 Okay, so it looks like that. The idea here is practice it slowly. Get the muscle memory. It's not even muscle memory, it's nervous system memory. Okay? Your muscles don't do anything without your nerves telling them to do it. So when you're doing this, it's just like a computer. You're practicing, your nervous system is circuits. You're practicing programming a computer. Your muscles may carry it out, but they don't tell you what to do. The muscles are the slaves. The directive comes from the nervous system. Okay, so you're training your nervous system. So take it slow. Learn the information thoroughly. You can speed it up. You can go from dot matrix to, 4G or whatever you want to call it through practice. That's a constant upgrade. So training is about upgrading. If you do it too fast, you get fragmented information. Okay? So you want to slow down to speed up. Now, I'm going to do this on the reverse side. I'm still going to be here. I got the bladed stance now. So I'm here. I'm still going to do a step drag. Me going to the outside is where I'm most likely to hit him in the nose or the front of the chin or anything like that because I'm stepping to the outside. So if I'm standing like this and you're right here, I'm going to step over here, opening up everything. Closing you off, opening me up. So I'm here. Okay? Now, if I do that here, I'm going to step to the outside and forward of the base. I'm here. Don't want any trouble. Up. And I mean throw your body weight into it. Keep your balance. Keep your center of gravity. But throw your body weight into it because it's your body that hits. This delivers the message, but this is the message. Okay? So I'm here. No trouble, no trouble. He wants to cause trouble. I can't stop. I'm going to follow through. This side, no trouble. I don't want any trouble. No, he wants to cause trouble. And I twitch my hip in. Okay? That's the variation of throwing the punches. Okay? Same movement, different edge. That's all it is. Okay? See, we're sticking with the straighter stuff for the hands. Straight movements, actually pretty hard. That's why everybody swings punches. Straight movements aren't easy. But if you can do the hard stuff easy, you can do the easy stuff easier. Okay? Learn the hard stuff first. Then the easy stuff, that's a no-brainer. Hooks, uppercuts, things like that. It doesn't matter. Okay. So, let's move on to the next set of kicks. Okay? We're just going to go with a one kick today. Okay? It's a side kick. Simple side kick. I don't care if you hit a guy in the gut or the knee or whatever. If you're good enough to hit him in the throat, hey, that's fine. I'm not a big fan of that. Never have been, even when I was super good at it. But I want to be pragmatic. Pragmatic means do it the simplest, most effective way you can. To me, that's a leg strike. Have I caught people in the gut with it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, actually a lot. I've never had to smack someone's knee with a side kick. I'm glad about that because that's permanent injury. But if somebody comes at me with the most aggressive mentality or a weapon, you better believe that the knee is gone. Okay? I don't care what happens afterwards. I'll be able to deal with that consequence. But if you come at me with a weapon, a knife or something, and people have, it has happened. I'm not coming at you with theory. I'm coming at you from experience. Okay? When it does happen, if it does happen, I'm not playing. This is not a competition. This is the real world. No one's out to prove they're better than you by playing fair or being chivalrous or anything like that. If they're out to attack you, they don't want an opponent. They want a victim. Once you prove you're not a victim by fighting back with everything you got, Predator does not want any part of that because the Predator doesn't want to get hurt. He wants to prove some half-assed dominance, which means he's going to cheat. There's really no cheating when it comes to an actual fight. There just is. It's whatever happens. Either you're better or you're on the ground. So when you're dealing with a real attacker, especially if you're a female, you want to hit people. This goes for everybody, but especially for females. You want to hit your aggressor everywhere they will not recover from. That is about joints, especially joints in the legs. Groin strikes, yes, but not primarily. They're more secondary. Because if someone's mad enough, they can survive a groin strike. Okay? They'll pay for it later. It's happened to me. They'll pay for it later. But they'll fight their way through. Okay? If you rake somebody in the eye, I don't mean just give them a brush. I mean rake them. I mean stick the thumb in there. I mean anything like that. Soft targets. Okay? This goes for anybody. That includes guys. That's why you want to be super careful about who you think is a real threat and who is just a threat to your ego. If someone's just a threat to your ego, you're the problem. Yeah, they're a nuisance, but you're the real problem. Okay? Nobody is a threat to your ego except you. Now, so, like I said, pragmatic fighting techniques. Pragmatic fighting skills. You want to go beyond technique. Real skill is not worrying about the technique, just fighting. Okay? With balance, coordination, timing, all that. The technique comes last. Okay? Technique is a vehicle that gets you somewhere better. But once you get out of that vehicle, you can always come back to the vehicle. It's still yours. It's not going anywhere. But sooner or later, you got to step out of that vehicle and just walk on your own. Okay? So, we got through the palm strikes. Now, side kick. There's a couple of different methods of doing a side kick. There's the reverse side. There's the lead side. There's the snap. There's the lunge. Forget all that. You can figure that out later. What you really want to do, especially if you go to the leg, you want to go for a snap thrust. Okay? That means you want to be quick. It's your foot. It's attached to a very strong limb called a leg. Another person's leg who's not prepared for it or is in the wrong position is not going to be able to withstand that storm. It's harder to stop somebody when you kick to the front with a side kick. Yes, it does work, but if somebody has their leg bent or flexed, yeah, you'll be able to stop them momentarily. You probably won't be able to hyperextend it. They'll have to be standing up pretty straight, kind of like this. Yeah, you can get them right here. That's when you can get them. Turn their leg right backwards. Permanent damage. That's why you need to be careful. Now, if you're in a position to get off the line, as in he's in front of you and you're to the side, better to hit the inside or the outside or the back. Those are the primary places where you can hit a side kick with minimal effort and maximum damage. It takes much more effort to hit someone from the front. Okay? You're better off stomping on their foot. There's a side kick version of that too. It's simply step, that's all. Whether you use the heel or the blade of your foot. So if you stood on your heel and blade of your foot like this, that would be your primary striking edge. Okay? You can hit with just the heel, but you get much more surface area in the blade. So if my leg is going like this, and the blade of your foot is going like this, there's less of a chance of you missing. Okay? So all I'm going to be here is I'm still doing this and all of that, and I'm going to shift this way. Okay? Or I'll shift this way. I'll turn my hip to the target. Because my knee is going to come up next. My knee comes up not only to clear whatever happens to be in the way, but I need to cock the gun. Okay? This is not so much like an automatic weapon. This is a revolver or even a shotgun. You need to cock it. Cock it. Okay? Treat it like somebody's trying to kick you in the groin and you're protecting it with your knee. Or someone's trying to sweep your leg or pull your leg out from under you, getting your leg out of the way. Okay? the next thing you do after that is you simply stomp down sideways. Okay? When you stomp down sideways, don't just drop your leg. Now you're trapped. Okay? You may have pushed him down, but your leg is exposed. There's less room for you to move. The thing is that when I'm here and I need to step out of the way and stomp, I need to be somewhere else afterwards. Okay? I can't just sit there and watch it. That's called shotgun. He may be down, but he might not be out. Okay? So I'm here. Step this way. I'll step here. I might put my hands up in a defense. Okay? He might throw something at me and I need to ricochet it off a block. And then my next move is here. Can I go higher? Yeah, I can go higher, but I might be too close to go higher. But the knee is always there. Okay? Within foot and a half, 2 feet, your low kick is great. 4 to 5 feet is for a higher side kick, and I don't really recommend that, especially if you're not looking to be sporty about it. Here, and I can go straight, which is fine. 1, 2. Catch them right above the belt. Something that'll fold their hip. That's fine. That's cool. Do that. But primarily, low. Side of the knee. If I go to the front of the knee, I'm going to have to skip it. So if I'm standing here and he's walking towards me, I'm going to have to skip. That way I can put my body weight into it. I don't have to put so much body weight into the sideways maneuver because the knee is fragile here. Okay? Knee is not fragile here quite as much. So if he's walking towards me, I'm going to have to intercept. So if I do this to the target, what I'm going to be is here, here, here. I'm going to shift. I'm going to aim right there. Just bring your knee up as far as it needs to go. Don't bring it all the way up to your chin. It's here. And just snap the blade out. Sink down into it. Don't lock your knees out. You lock your knees out, gravity has to be your friend. If you're going up in the air when you try and kick, you just lose your balance. You don't get very far. Drop. Knee stays bent. Gravity helps me. Okay? From here, slip. Doesn't take much. I don't have to do this very hard. The idea is to get out of there afterwards. Out. Okay? So, there's your 2 maneuvers for the day. You want to practice those. These aren't things that so much go in a combination. There's kickboxing and then there's self-defense. They're 2 different things. They're 2 sides of the same coin. They both apply, but there are different standards for both. If you just practice kickboxing, you'll be good under some circumstances in the real world. But what if those fail? You might need things that you consider a cheat code. Okay? What's the quickest way to win at a video game? Have a cheat code. What's the quickest way to win at a fight that you don't want to be in? Have a cheat code. The cheat code is all the stuff that is outside of the sports mentality. Okay? I treat it like this. I say, look, if you're building a house and you have the bricks are, and this can go either way, the bricks being the foundation, let's say that's the sport. But if you don't have something to hold the bricks together so that the integrity stays, so that it's solid, well, then it's the 3 little pigs. You're just going to huff and puff and blow it down. So you got the bricks, you build the bricks, right? You can stack them all you want. They look strong, but somebody who doesn't quite respect your wall is going to knock it right down. The mortar. The mortar is the traditional movements that glue the bricks together. They maintain the integrity of the sporting moves. So if you want a solid foundation for everything you're doing, you have to have both the sporting techniques, which are simply basics. They're just basics. Put the gloves on, take the gloves off. A punch is a punch, a kick is a kick. Okay? The contact feels different simply because there's no padding. But the sport is the basic movements. When you advance the movements into things that the sport frowns upon, That's when you're getting into the traditional stuff. You know why there's so many rules in MMA? They aren't eliminating things that don't work. They're eliminating things that work way too well. No eye gouging, no groin kicks, no finger pokes, no fish hooks, no front knee strikes. Thigh is fine. You can hit the front of the thigh with a side kick. That's why, like certain MMA fighters do it. But there are certain techniques that are not allowed because they're too dangerous. Those are the traditional movements. They aren't eliminated because they don't work. They're eliminated because they do work. And if you're skilled enough to be able to do the sport and you have the mentality to maintain your state of mind, you don't lose your mind when the confrontation happens. You don't panic. You stay cold. You're almost like a Terminator. When you have that mentality where you can stay set and you can do the basic movements, the sport movements really, really well, and then you switch gears and you do the not sport movements, but you already know that you can fight, you are one dangerous person. That's not a person you need doing the mortar techniques in MMA. That's someone who's really going to hurt somebody. Why do you think people get penalized for eye pokes? Because they work. People get penalized for, kicking a little too low and hitting someone on the kneecap with a side kick. Because it works. Okay? So you want to put those two things together. Yes, learn the sport. Do you have to compete? No. You don't have to compete. But you should learn the sport. That's why in my game, the sport comes first, and then we expand from that route into the stuff that most people will say, oh, that's useless. I'm like, yeah, it's useless for you. You don't know how to do it. So that's how it works for today. All right? See you later.